Hey guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life and welcome to a new Wentworth Top 10 video. Okay, well, in today's video I am going to be taking a look at my top 10 favourite Lou Kelly moments. Now, Lou Kelly may have only been in the final 2 seasons, but she certainly kept herself busy and made a huge impact on the show and played a massive part in the show's season final. So get yourselves comfy and let's jump straight in. So kicking this list off at number 10 is Lou and Reb rob the jewelers. So this is the very first opening scene to season 8 and it's the very first time that we are introduced to Lou and Reb. Now what I just love about this scene is how Lou and Reb, they work so well together. They've obviously gone into this jewelers and spotted one of the most expensive rings with the intentions of stealing it. Now the shop attendant guy, he's like, ooh, that's very expensive. Maybe you would like to look at the ones on the wall. And Lou was like, no, I want this one. The security guy then gets a little bit sus and Lou whips out her big massive gun and I just love the look on her face right here. She just does not give 2 fucks. Anyway, they both end up stealing the jewelry and they jump into a car and they make a run for it. Just as it looks as if they've got away with it, a taxi comes crashing into them. And Reb is like, Lou, you should go, make a run for it. But Lou is like, nope, I ain't leaving you. And Lou sits with Reb knowing that she's going straight back into Wentworth. Now, what makes this scene always make me wish is that I just wish we had more of Lou Kelly, and not just Lou in prison, but I really would have loved to have seen Lou escape and go on the run on the outside causing absolute havoc, because there's just no boundaries with Lou. Look at how dangerous she became in prison. Imagine what she would have been like on the outside. In fact, it's criminal that we didn't get to see Lou Kelly sooner in Wentworth. At number 9 is Lou burns Joan's hand in the steam press. Now, we couldn't have had Lou Kelly as top dog and not see her put someone's hands in the steam press, and that very person who falls victim to Lou is Joan Ferguson. Now, this happens in the very final season and Lou gets it into her head that Joan is lagging to the screws, so Lou has her crew drag Joan into the laundry. Then there's this really tense scene where Lou slowly grabs Joan's hands to decide which one she's going to burn. Now, as far as I remember, I think Joan was still pretending to have amnesia at this point, and I'm pretty sure her trial was literally just around the corner, so she couldn't really fight back to reveal her identity at this stage. However, Joan did daydream for 2 seconds of slamming Lou's face into the steam press, which always makes my mouth drop whenever I see it, but Lou ends up slamming down that steam press onto Joan's hands, and to be fair, Joan doesn't let off any screams. Number 8 is I Got the Fly. Now, in Lou Kelly's first episode, we learned that she can pretty much look after herself. Also, if anyone tries to pick on Reb, Lou will teach you a good lesson, and that's exactly what happens when Lou and Reb, they're being transferred to Wentworth on a bus with a few other new inmates, and one of them starts teasing Reb on the bus. So when the bus arrives outside Wentworth, Lou's getting really pissed off by some fly that keeps buzzing around her. So what does Lou do? Well, she grabs this woman who was taunting Reb and slams her face and body into the window over and over again, squashing the fly, and it's brutal. Lou then makes a joke saying, don't worry guys, I got the fly. It's such a brilliant moment, and I can remember thinking when I first saw this scene that Lou Kelly is gonna be trouble, but I kinda like it. At number 7, and it's the aftermath of the death of Reb. So, as we all know, Sheila killed Reb while Reb and Lou are drugged and they are outers on the bed together. And when Lou wakes up, it's just absolutely horrific. Now, Kate Box's acting during the aftermath of Reb's death was absolutely outstanding. I remember the scene where the crime scene investigators, they're taking photos of Reb's body and Lou is in medical just looking completely broken. And also this scene where the officers come into the cell and spray Lou in the face and she's screaming Reb's name down the corridor. It's just heartbreaking. But of course, Lou's heartbreak soon turns into deadly anger, as you will soon see further on my list. At number 6, and it's Kellys Riot. So, in season 8 part 1, Lou wanted Joan to poison and kill Dr. Miller, and Lou carefully orchestrated a diversion, a riot. Lou got some of the women to go crazy in the corridors, and then Lou and all the rest of the women, they all started trashing, the laundry up, which was just fantastic. It was kind of like we had gone back to season 7 during the siege episodes when all hell was breaking loose. Now, Linda Miles, she's freaking out due to her PTSD, and she's telling Dr. Miller to lock himself in the office and to lock the door. Next minute, some of the women end up at the creche and they almost end up attacking the babies. It's such a great moment in season 8 part 1, and it proved just how much control Lou really had over some of the women. At number 5, and it's Lou tortures Judy in that dirty bin juicy water. A moment we were all waiting for was for Judy Bryan to get some sort of comeuppance of what she did to Ali, and let's not forget she also stole Lou and Reb's money. So Rita, Ali and the girls, they end up telling Lou the whole story, and then Lou wanted revenge. The women ended up grabbing Judy while she was having food in the dining room, and they dragged her to the back of the kitchen bin area where they had basically filled up a bin with water, like dirty water, and they threw Judy in and they slammed down the lid. Now, Judy, she tries to plead with Lou, but Lou is having none of it, and she lets the women just carry on with the water torture. Eventually, Lou does listen to what Judy has to say, and Lou then calls it off. But what I love the most about this scene is how everyone, just for a moment, were united. Ali, Rita, Ruby, everyone was just there with Lou to see Judy get her just desserts. At number 4, and it's the laughing gas scene between Ali and Lou. So, Ali, she thought that it was Lou Kelly that had stabbed her, leaving her in a wheelchair for the rest of her life, and Ali had revenge in mind. Now, Ali ends up stealing some laughing gas from the dentist, and later on she goes to Lou's cell and smashes her over the head with it. When Lou wakes up, she is tied to a chair, and she's got the gas mask on her face, and where Ali starts releasing this laughing gas slowly. Now this causes Lou to start having uncontrollable laughing fits, and it's such a great scene. Ali is telling Lou that too much laughing gas is bad for you, and Ali's intentions is to turn Lou into a vegetable. But Lou ends up telling Ali the truth, that it was Judy who attacked her in the showers, not her. And the penny finally drops for Ali. Now, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when they were filming this scene, just because Kate Box and Kate Jenko, they must have had so much fun filming this scene. At number 3, things are getting pretty brutal now, and it's the moment where Lou kills Sheila. Now this is definitely up there as one of the more disturbing scenes in Wentworth. So after Sheila kills Reb, Lou discovers who did it. So Lou goes after Sheila in the cleaning room, where Lou tells Sheila to either drink some poison or Lou is gonna slit her throat. So Sheila decides that she's gonna drink the poison. What comes next is a very unpleasant scene where Sheila's whole body is convulsing and shaking, and Sheila, like at one point, she's even trying to smash her head into the sink, trying to knock herself out. She then begs Lou to finish the job, but Lou just kicks her to the ground and continues to watch her struggle with this poison going through her body. It's almost like it's melting her insides. Now Mari comes in, and eventually Mari and Lou end up pressing the mop handle down onto Sheila's throat until she's dead. Now this scene holds no punches and there are no cutaways. It's proper brutal, and it's definitely a scene that I will personally never forget. And number 2, and we are sticking with murder here now, and it's the moment where Lou kills Mari. So, as we all know by now, if it wasn't for Mari getting into Sheila's head when she told her that Lou had poisoned Mandel, and maybe Sheila, she wouldn't have killed Reb. Now, all the way through season 8 part 2, it was looking like that Lou wasn't going to pay Mari back, especially because at one point they started sleeping with each other, but in the end, Lou always pays her enemies back, and that's exactly what happened just before the final ever episode, where Lou ends up sticking a huge kitchen knife into Mari and basically like ripping it up her body and twisting it, making sure that she's causing as much damage before pulling it out and leaving Mari to bleed to death on the dirty floor alone. It's actually quite a sad moment for Mari Winter fans, and even for people who weren't that keen on Mari. You almost end up feeling so bad for her because she was trying to prove to the H1 girls that they now can trust her. But she did cross Lou Kelly on many occasions, and Lou was always going to kill her in the end. And at my top spot is the moment where Lou declares herself top dog. Now, this isn't the first time where this very moment has been in one of my other number 1 spots, as it was also at my number 1 spot in my top 10 season 8 part 2 moments. Wow, that was a mouthful. Everything about this scene is so perfectly epic. Just after Lou has killed Sheila, the alarms go off and Lou is in the dining room with all of the women, and the women are trying to work out where Sheila is. Lou then just casually announces that Sheila is dead. She killed her because of what she did to Reb. And the tension in this scene just gets crazier and crazier. Linda Miles, she ends up running out to get some help, and then Lou goes crazy at Boomer, telling her that she did nothing and starts screaming at the top of her voice. Then a few officers arrive and they grab Lou, and then Lou announces to everyone that she is declaring herself as top dog in front of a load of horrified women. And this includes Addie, Boomer, Ruby and Mari. It's such a fantastic scene that leaves you on an almighty cliffhanger for the following episode. It's just a bit of a shame that they released that clip of Lou declaring herself top dog in some of the trailers. I mean, that would have proved an even more shocking moment if they had kept just that little one back out of the trailers, but either way, it's a brilliant scene. So that was my top 10 favourite Lou Kelly moments. So guys, let me know in the comments box below, what was your favourite Lou Kelly moment? Let me know guys, because next Monday I am going to be creating a quick little maybe 5-minute video of me responding to some of your comments over the last couple of weeks and answering some of your questions. So if you have any questions that you'd like answered by me, then now is the time to get them in. Okay guys, well thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe out there, and I'll see you all again very soon.